Hello everybody, Space Shark here, and welcome to the Overwatch Iceberg. Today, we're going to dive through Overwatch, from the most surface level things that everybody knows, to the deep dark depths of different types of lore, information, and just about anything that you think you can get your hands on. Welcome, again, to the Overwatch Iceberg. Overwatch. Overwatch takes place 60 years in the future and is a task force of unrelenting and heroic heroes willing to make change and put an end to evil in the Omnic Crisis. Everyone part of Overwatch has some type of special ability that puts them above and beyond the rest. During the Omnic Crisis, the United Nations formed a task force to counter the Omnic threat. Overcoming the Omnic Crisis turned Overwatch into a peacekeeping force for the well-being of the world. Led by Jack Morrison, aka Soldier 76, and Gabriel Reyes, aka Reaper, Overwatch led many missions, disrupting and taking down many global threats, just like the mentioned Omnic Crisis that had its grasp on the world. CC removal. CC stands for crowd control, and it's one hero's ability to move someone to a designated area, stun them, or just move them around in general. You'd be able to see many forms of CC, such as Wrecking Ball's Pile Driver, Brigetti's Whip Shot and Shield Bash, Roadhog's Hook Stun, and even Mcree's original Flashbang from Overwatch 1. CC was eventually removed for Overwatch 2 because it was a big complaint about the community and it slowed down gameplay. It also cancelled ults and just halted the momentum of certain teams just by simple abilities with CC. Roadhog Hook version 1. Roadhog's version 1 hook has been a meme in the Overwatch community since its removal. If you don't know, Roadhog's original hook used to be able to hook people and pull them through walls, ceilings, steady objects, floors, you name it. If you were caught by the hook, you were being teleported to him. It was so much fun playing with this hook, but it's honestly okay to see why it was removed. But go back and search videos of the Roadhog version 1 hookup on YouTube. It is literally the funniest thing you will ever see. Thank me later. Double Shield. Double Shield was, and still is in certain forms of gameplay, a very popular meta to win games in both quick play and competitive games. Double Shield was basically two tanks, both primary main shield tanks, consisting of either Reinhardt and Sigma, Reinhardt and Orisa and Sigma, a combination of the three, but you pick two of them. And basically their premise was, you push to the point on attack or defense, doesn't matter, with both shields, pretty much making your DPS and support completely unkillable, and deemed so unfun and was completely hated by the Overwatch community. It is also believed that this double shield meta is the reason 6v6 was killed off in Overwatch 2 in replacement for 5v5. But don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. It's just a theory. Nope, wrong channel. Sorry. Mercy Res ult. Mercy's original ult was the Resurrection, which has now been moved to one of her abilities. If you didn't know about this, you can ask any seasoned veteran Overwatch player that started in the original days of Overwatch 1, and they'll tell you how annoying and painstakingly toxic this ultimate was. You'd get a team wipe, Mercy would come out after hiding, and res the whole team, having to start the whole team fight over again. Go look up some clips of this. It was absolute chaos. If you really wanted to win a team fight and secure the point in original Overwatch, your first goal was to kill the Mercy, because if you didn't, you'd see painstaking yellow bright lights as the enemy team is revived again, right in front of your face. Wrong. Goats. Goats is a comp used so many times in regular competitive, quick play, and especially the pros in the E-League and the Overwatch World Cup. There's been plenty of teams who have run it, but it was popularized by the San Francisco Shock when they would run 3 tanks and 3 supports, consisting of Reinhardt, D.Va, and Zarya for the tanks, and Moira, Lucio, and Brigitte for the supports. And the whole point of this comp was sustainability, to never die, and to all focus one person all at once, running into them like a train. This dominated the competitive scene for the entirety of 2019, all the way to the end of Overwatch 1 in 2022. This may also be part of the reason why we have 5v5 instead of 6v6 now, but once again, that's just a theory. Jeff Kaplan. Jeff Kaplan is a video game designer and was the original video game director for Overwatch. Jeff Kaplan did a lot of good in Overwatch, so I'm not going to say anything bad about him. He was literally the figurehead that made Overwatch succeed because he believed in the team and he saw a game that would work. Unfortunately, Jeff Kaplan parted ways with the Overwatch community, not our fault, but because of the studio of Activision Blizzard and their really shady tactics. I won't go into too much about the predecessors that go into this, but just know Jeff Kaplan was a really good video game director for Overwatch. Please look him up. He really is an amazing guy. He did a lot for this community. Blackwatch. Blackwatch was a secret organization that would run underneath the umbrella of Overwatch. It would go on secret missions without the public knowledge or in the public eye, taking out high-profile targets or bringing them in for arrest. But this all fell apart when Blackwatch went on a mission with Reaper, Moira, Mcree, and Genji. They were supposed to take in this Prime Minister, but Reaper, with his anger, ended up killing the guy instead. What happened next was seen by the entire world. They had to fight their way out, and everyone found out what Blackwatch really was, and all the things Overwatch was doing without them knowing. This exact moment was the downfall of Overwatch. Paladins. Paladins is a game that was either released shortly after or around the same time as Overwatch. Paladins is criticized for being an Overwatch knockoff, especially when you see the gameplay. A lot of the characters resemble many of the characters in Overwatch, especially Reinhardt, Reaper, and many others. Just go take a look for yourself. While Paladins is a fun game, it isn't for me, but I'm not trying to discourage you from gonna go play it either. It is very similar though. Go give it a try when you can. It is free to play. Overwatch loot boxes. Overwatch used to have loot boxes in the original Overwatch, and while many games are criticized for adding microtransactions like loot boxes, Overwatch, I could tell you wholeheartedly and truthfully that it had a very, very good way of implementing them. Not only was there no pay to win, it was all just cosmetics, and very good ones too. And you didn't even have to pay for loot boxes most of the time. You can earn them just by leveling up. But it was too good. Eventually, Most of the community was just earning loot boxes just by leveling up instead of paying for them. So Overwatch took them out and replaced it with a battle pass. It's sad that they are gone, and it is crazy to say that we do miss the loot boxes, but that was just the golden age of Overwatch, and everything good sometimes just goes. But we can reminisce on those times. We miss the loot boxes. Gerard. Gerard was a key member of Overwatch. He was a main target of assassination by the enemy organization Talon. He survived multiple attempts by the Talon agents. Frustrated with the failed attempts to kill Gerard, they turned to his loving wife Emile, also known in Overwatch as Widowmaker. They were able to brainwash her after kidnapping her, making her kill her husband in his sleep. And on top of that, they recruited her to Talon as the vicious and calm-minded killer, Widowmaker. Bastion, Overwatch 1 Beta. In the original Overwatch 1 Beta, before the original game launched, Bastion used to be more overpowered than he ever was. Bastion used to come with a deployable shield in front of him, where you couldn't do any damage to the front of Bastion until you destroyed a 500 shield. This was insanely overpowered, and I think we're all glad to say, especially the Overwatch community, that this is gone. Bastion is already a pain in the ass to deal with, and just adding a shield on top of it, that was overkill. Titan. Titan, or Project Titan as formerly known, was an MMO that was scrapped by Blizzard. The production for the game began around 2007 and was finally cancelled in 2013 in the month of May. Elements from that game were ported over to some of Overwatch's earliest content that you could find. This game was said to be taking place in the near future, fighting off different races of aliens during an invasion. Players would do different types of jobs during the day and wage warfare against different factions at night. There would be multiple classes that you would now see in Overwatch, with some of the earliest names being Juggernaut, Reaper, Assassin, Jumper, and like I said, a lot of these were ported over to some of the newer heroes, such as Tracer, Reaper, Genji and Hanzo, Widowmaker, and Reinhardt. There's tons of things you could find on this, so I really recommend looking it up. It is really neat. Also, fun fact, did you know Genji and Hanzo were supposed to be one character? Pretty cool, isn't it? Liberate Hong Kong. Liberate Hong Kong was a controversial movement that took place after the Grandmasters tournament of Hearthstone. The winner, a Hong Kong-based player, would go on for an interview after winning the tournament and would say on live TV, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our time," while wearing goggles and a face mask, which are commonly used to protect your identity during protest. Now, it's pretty obvious to see that the country of China was pissed, and they actually forced Blizzard to take action upon the player. Just a side note for a second, what's happening over in China right now is really fucked up. Look into it if you really want to find out more, but I feel bad for these Chinese players. The Tracer pose. There used to be a Tracer victory pose in the original Overwatch that was removed not too long after the game launched. The reasoning for was the pose was seen as seductive and sexual. I don't really know about that, Chief. I think you're smoking something on this one. But yeah, you tell me what you guys think. Is Blizzard just smoking crack, or is she actually in a sexual pose? Soldier 76 is gay. Soldier 76 has been confirmed gay by Blizzard Entertainment. There's also a short comic called Bastet, where we find Soldier 76 and Ana conversing to each other. She finds a picture of Soldier and a man by the name of Vincent. Soldier explains to Ana that he had to put his line of duty before anything else, but that he always thinks of the man Vincent. and the many sacrifices he's had to make to keep everyone safe. Anna then agreed that relationships don't work out for her nor Soldier. This announcement came out 2 to 3 years after the launch of the original Overwatch, thus making Soldier 76 yet another LGBTQ character on the Overwatch roster. Mcree name change. For many veteran Overwatch players, we can all remember our favorite cowboy hero in Overwatch that used to go by the name Mcree. Current day, his name has been changed to Cassidy, and that has to do with sexual harassment charges towards the developer that Mcree took his name from. Developer Jesse Mcree was fired from the Overwatch team after the sexual harassment charges were brought upon him. Blizzard, trying to keep the Overwatch team in a safe and clean environment, decided to part ways with the former developer, whose name is synonymous with our favorite cowboy. The Noose Spray. The Noose Spray was taken out of Overwatch for many obvious reasons. Although it worked well with the aesthetic of the character it belonged to, Cassidy, many players of the Overwatch community would put up really tasteless spray combos on the walls of different maps. I'm sure you can imagine where this is going, but I'll give an example if you still don't understand. You'd see the Noose Spray with baby Winston's head inside the noose, or even the Mercy cute spray inside the noose. I'm sure you understand why this had to be removed. There's always going to be someone to ruin everything for everyone else, and this is a perfect example of people using their creativity in the worst ways possible. Heroes never die. Heroes Never Die statue can be found in the map Lijiang Tower on the Control Center section of the map. Here, you will come across an astronaut setup with a bunch of characters seeming to be written in either Japanese or Korean. And it reads, "Heroes Never Die," the slogan of Overwatch. This is dedicated to a fan and supporter of the game. The fan was Woo Hung Yu, a college student who tried to prevent a motorcycle theft but died in the process of being a hero. Blizzard and the Overwatch team put this statue up in his honor, proving that heroes never die and that he'll be remembered forever, just like the heroes we love in Overwatch. Rest in peace, Woo Hung Yu. Heroes really never die. You will be missed. Terry Crews, Doomfist. Terry Crews was ultimately supposed to be the voice actor for the former DPS, now tank, Doomfist. There are many speculations on why he never ended up being the final choice for Doomfist. There are many rumors though, including a sexual assault allegation, or the fact that he's a vocal Trump supporter, or it could just be the most common one, and that he's just too busy with other projects. Either way, I believe he would have been a very welcome voice actor for the Overwatch tank, and it would have been very amusing to hear him alongside you in battle, also considering that he's a very avid gamer and loves the Overwatch community. Oh well. Symmetra was a support. Symmetra was originally a support character in the original Overwatch. This has been overlooked by so many people in the Overwatch community. It has been forgotten, but she was one of the 4 original supports in the game, alongside Mercy, Zenyatta, and Lucio. Her kit was so much different too. Her abilities consisted of turrets and shields she would give to everyone, and her ultimate had 2 options, teleporter or shield generator. But after her time has passed, Blizzard and the Overwatch team felt she would be more functional as a DPS. Personally, I think the support role was more in line with her gameplay and abilities, but she's still a very unique character to this day who resides in the DPS pool for heroes. The floor is lava. The floor is lava is iconic in the Overwatch community for being one of the hardest trophies achievements in the game, and even one of the hardest trophies achievements in any game in general. The achievement sees you booping 2 enemies off the map while wall riding as Lucio. Many players wouldn't be able to do it, so they would get their friends to try to get on the enemy team so they can do it themselves. As more players mastered Lucio, it became less difficult to achieve, but if you go look at its unlock score, it still sits as an ultra rare, with an unlock score that still sits under 5% to this day. Man, that is such a hard achievement. I would seriously like to thank everyone who clicked on this video and everyone who has recently been subscribing to me, liking, commenting, and just doing all they can on my content. It really means so much to me, everyone. As a new content creator, this is a breath of fresh air, and I really do hope you like this content. Next, I'll be doing another Overwatch tier list video for you guys since I know you love it so much. Until then, this is Space Shark, everyone, and I am signing out. I love every single one of you, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.